Hi everyone, welcome. Today is February something. I'm not really sure. February 3rd, maybe? I don't know. And I honestly had a really good reading month of January. I feel like I got a lot of reading done. Also, looking back, I realized a lot of it was read on my Kindle. Some of them I did have the physical versions of, but most of it I actually read on my Kindle or iPad, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let's get into it. But to start, I don't know if the right thing to call it is a meme or not, but whatever it is, you know when they're like, you go and you're like, oh, I love reading, and then someone's like, oh, what are you reading right now? And it's like, you're like completely blank and unable to explain what you're reading to anyone. I fear that is how I am. I am awful at explaining books to any of my friends in any way. I realize this. I've turned my coworkers into reading girls, and they're like asking me about Onyx Storm because a bunch of us were talking about it, and a couple of them who haven't read it yet were asking about it and like what was going on, and they're like, how would you describe it? And I was like, that is a very good question, and I am not the person to ask. And I literally said, you should Google it. That's what I came back with. So I realized I am not the best at explaining things, so don't take any of my explanations in these videos, in this video or any video now on, by heart, because I'm awful at it. So yeah, let's get started. So the first book I read this new year, January, I want to say I even read it January like 1st, was Skyshade. I finished last year by rereading Nightbane, and then I went right into Skyshade. And I will say I gave this a three stars. 3 stars, yeah, and it just like, yeah, that's all I can say. I don't know, I just feel like, you know what I mean? Like, originally she said, like, wasn't the series supposed to be, like, 3 books or whatever? And then after this one, she came out saying, like, oh, there's, like, 2 more books. And I know nothing about the next 2. I did not look into them in any way or anything like that. But I think because they extended it so there's more books, it just didn't end. This book didn't end well with me. Like, it should have ended at 3 books. It shouldn't have kept going. Like, if anything, it should have been like a, I don't know, like, if she wanted to write anything else about the story, it should be like a novella or something, not like more to it, not like another book or anything like that. I don't know. It just felt like she was trying to draw it out unnecessarily, and yeah, I just like, I don't know, I wasn't a fan of it, and I don't want to explain it at all because you have to read Lightlark and Nightbane before, and to go in, I love the first 2, truly, and to explain Lightlark, to convince you to read that one, because I loved it and I got my friends to read it as well. Basically, it's like, so like they all have different curses that are not very nice, and basically every 100 years they go and they try to break it. And yeah, I really liked the first one. I enjoyed it a lot, and the second one too. This one, not so much, I guess, but that doesn't mean to put you off on the first 2, because I do think the first 2 are magnificent and you should definitely read those. So the next books I read is this duology. It's One Dark Window and then Two Twisted Crowns. So I gave 4 stars to One Dark Window and then 5 stars to Two Twisted Crowns. Wow. That was a rough one. Basically, I don't know why. I could not put these books down. I don't know what was going on with me. I want to say I was at work and I finished this one and I was like, whoa, like I immediately was like texting my parents. I said, I'm gonna be home late. I'm stopping at Target because I need to go get the second book. So yeah, that's what ended up happening. And honestly, I'll like the best way, I'm just gonna read the back of it, okay? It says, Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare. An ancient, mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets. But nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure Blunder of the dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder, and guilty of high treason. A maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. I honestly wasn't expecting to like it. I'm not like really a gothic fan though, but it was honestly really good. That and there's like a lot of the subplot of romance is really good, I will say that, but it is the main focus is, you know, the city and trying to break this sort of curse that was set on this town by I want to say it was like the god of something. I want to say like the forest. I want to say something like that. That was set by, you know, whatever. Set by the king. They're trying to break it. You know, whatever the situation is. Truly. It was fantastic. I honestly read it so fast. Within 2 days, had to go get the next one, and the next one picks up immediately where it was left off, and you sort of see the dynamic of so many more people in the second one because you get multiple point of views then. So in the first one, it's only her point of view. You're only getting what she's thinking and what's going on for her. Where in the second one, you're getting like everyone's point of view in different chapters. So there's times where they sort of have to split up and do different things as to help their like little group thing. So you get their point of views with everything that's going on throughout that. So yeah, I thought it was really good, honestly. And the characters, like, I fell in love with each of the characters. I was very devoted to every single one of them and was so concerned for all of them. Like, I was so worried. I wanted to say, I wrote on Goodreads, when I rated Two Twisted Crowns, I wrote, wow, all I can say was she had me stressed at the end of this one. She truly did. I'm like remembering now after reading this, like, it took to the last like 50 pages. She was like pulling it to the last couple minutes, and I was stressed to the core about what was gonna happen, and honestly was so worried. But next book I read was a recommendation actually from my manager. She's a big reader girl as well, so she told me to read this one because I was just like, I don't know, after reading those two I was sort of in like a bit of a slump because I was like just like like my mind was just like all over the place and I didn't know what was going on. So I like asked her, I was like, what's a book I should read? And so I ended up reading Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, which I gave 3.5 stars. And for it, it's like, I feel like this was trending on TikTok for a while, and it's like this girl, let me just read you the description, honestly, because I'm not going to describe it good enough. What if you thought you murdered your best friend, and if everyone else thought so too, and what if the truth doesn't matter? Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of their small Texas town, pretty smart and enviable. Lucy married a dream guy with a big ring and even bigger new home. Savvy was the social butterfly, loved by all, and if you believe the rumors, especially popular with the men in town. But after Lucy is found wandering the streets covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she is a murderer. It's been years since that horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about, and she has since moved to LA and started a new life. But now the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast Listen for the Lie and its two good-looking hosts Ben Owens have decided to investigate Savvy's murder for the show's second season. Lucy is forced to return to the place she vowed never to set foot in again to solve her friend's murder, even if she is the one who did it. The truth is out there, even if we just listen. Honestly, all I said was, we love an unreliable narrator. And you'll truly, once you read the book, you'll understand what I mean by that. I personally enjoy unreliable narrators when it's like the person who is telling the story themselves, you can't truly trust them because obviously she has memory problems. What she is remembering is either the truth or, as they say in the book, what she has made to believe was the truth in any way, or, you know, something like that. So it is just, yeah, it is something that's very, very interesting. I love it unreliable. I love when they're so unreliable that you truly don't know, and you don't know where the story is gonna go with them being so unreliable and everything happening. And honestly, I think I did enjoy the book. I just think that the ending just like didn't make me super happy. Was really the majority, like really why I rated it 3.5. But I did enjoy it. It talks about like what happened. It flashes back between that year and then current, and then people doing interviews for the podcast, and it goes like through like the timeline of everything and just like them two piecing everything together and getting like a plot line put together for the story, sort of figuring out like why the police didn't really do anything about it and just agreed that it was, you know, Lucy and everything. So I definitely recommend, if you like thriller-esque, like trying to figure it out ones, then yeah, I think you'd truly enjoy this one. But yeah, don't believe everything you read, that's for sure. The next book I read was A Fate Inked in Blood. I don't know why I waited so long to read it. I truly don't. I have this idea in my head that every time someone really, really recommends a book and a book gets so hyped up that it's really not as good as it is, and I've continuously been proved wrong multiple times now, and I still think this way. And this was just another one of those times. So, yeah, 5 stars for me. 5 stars. That's for sure. And again, I'm not going to try to like explain the book in any way because I'm totally going to mess it up, and I don't want to do that to the author because it is a really well written book. And I do want to say the thing that I think pushed me off for so long is because one of the characters' names has the same name of someone I went to high school with. So I was like, ew, why would I don't want to read this name of someone like I know. That was what pushed me off for a long time. And my friend, actually, we were talking about it because I said I read it, said the same thing. She's like, the only reason I haven't read it is because it has, you know, his name in it. And I was like, I said the same thing, but I am happy I read it, and I'm actually really excited for the next one as well. So yeah, but let me read this for you. Bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish but dreams of becoming a warrior and of putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Freya's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son Bjorn. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capable of repelling any attack, and it's been foretold that such magic will unite the fractured nation of Scotland beneath the one who controls the shield maiden's fate. Believing he's destined to rule Scotland as king, the fanatical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Bjorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Bjorn. If Freya succumbs to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she has sworn to protect. Again, yeah, the name is Bjorn, yeah, is someone I went to high school with, which is crazy, because that's not a common name at all. So it's so crazy that, like, that's the one that ends up being the same there in any way. But yeah, basically Freya is, you know, the good. She'll do anything for her family, and she just wants to protect everyone and save everyone and do the right thing, and, you know, everyone else just wants to use her for what she is and what her powers are, and yeah, and it's just her honestly mostly realizing that, but also, you know, learning how to fight, and, you know, figuring everything out and figuring out who's truly on her side. And I finished this one, and it was like, I decided to reread Iron Flame. It was because I was like, oh, Onyx Storm comes out, I want to reread it, make sure I remember everything I need to. But that also meant I didn't want to start, I'm sorry, I have the hiccups. I didn't want to start any book in between finishing that one and then going to Onyx Storm. So I ended up reading Done and Dusted, Swift and Saddled, and Lost and Lassoed. And honestly, I was just going with Done and Dusted first, and I have the one on my shelf, but I lent it to a friend who is trying to get into reading, and I felt like she would probably like that one. So I was going with that one, and then I was reading it on my Kindle from my library, and then the next one was available on my Kindle from my library. So I was like, huh, I'll just read that one. Then the third one was available on my Kindle from my library. So I was like, might as well keep it going and just ended up reading all 3 of them, and I gave all 3 of them 3 stars. They were all really cute, honestly, and I didn't think I would be a fan of like the country small town romance situation, but I was. I was just like, it was adorable, and honestly, like, they have 3 stars just because, I don't know, they're not 4-star worthy to me. Like, they weren't jaw-dropping enough to be 4 stars, but I did enjoy them enough. Like, they will stay on my shelf, and I will recommend them to people if they like ask me about like a book in that sort of direction. So yeah, so basically Done and Dusted is the first one in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. It's best friend's younger sister, right? I guess that's the best way to put it. Or it's like brother's best friend, whatever. Same sort of situation there. Brother's best friend sort of situation, that sort of vibe, where they all also like, you know, trauma sort of stage. Then you have Swift and Saddled, where, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you the tropes of this one. City girl, and then like small town guy. And then Lost and Lassoed is a single father and sister's best friend. And forced proximity, enemies to lovers, because they don't like each other whatsoever. So yeah, I will say, like, these are, Lila Sage does it with like the cute like quotes that they like give, that the men always say to the women and everything like that. It's truly adorable, and I enjoy it so much. It gives me unrealistic expectations, obviously, but yeah, at least I know it's unrealistic. But it's fun to read and, you know, fantasize of a world like that, you know, is never gonna happen. But that's okay. I guess we'll live. It's fine, I guess. So then next I read Onyx Storm. I think this is like, oh my god, such an awaited book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I think the last 2 I gave 5 stars. And I did think it was really good, and it had me. I do think the first half was pretty slow, and then it like got into it towards the second half of the book. But also, love Rebecca Yarros. Obviously we share a name, so we like love. But the main thing I think that had me was, yeah, a couple plot lines closed from the first 2 books, but so many more were opened, and the ones that were already open became so much more extravagant that I truly sort of like lost all thoughts at the end. And I was talking with my 2 coworkers about it, because we all read it and decided to discuss afterwards, and at the end we were sort of like, what really happened at the end? Like, we had to sort of go through it, and I want to say, like, one of them, she's like, I had to look up what happened, which felt so real. And hearing what she looked up and explaining it to me, I was like, that makes more sense than what I was going off of. But I also gave her like what I thought of when I like read it and everything like that. So, you know, obviously we were like just bouncing ideas and stuff like that. So there's just a lot going on overall. So I feel like if you're going into the series with Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and then Onyx Storm, please, please, please take your time with all 3 of them, because there is so much. There are so many details. There's so many things you have to know and notice, because she honestly hides so many things and she foreshadows so much. And yeah, so take your time with it. I honestly took my time with reading this book too, and I still like ended up having to go back, reread some things, trying to clarify and understand some things. Also, she did some things in this book that I cannot forgive. There are some things that happened and I can't say, but I cannot forgive them. I cannot, and I don't think I ever will. So, I don't know. Maybe she'll redeem herself in the next one, but it's seeming highly unlikely at this point. So, I don't know. But knowing that it's gonna be like quite a long time for the next book is a bit terrifying, to be honest, but it will have to do for now. God, I ramble too much. Someone needs to shut me up, truly. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.